Welcome back, everyone. Now, this is where we left off in our last video, right? So now I'm going to continue with modeling the other objects, okay? But before I do that, I want to apply the modifiers, okay? Because I want to join the objects, okay? So it's only right I apply all the modifiers before I join the objects, okay? If I were to just select all the objects and put them on my screen cast keys, if I were to just select the objects and hit Ctrl J, you're going to have some weirdness because the modifiers are still active, okay? So I'm going to apply the modifiers first. Now, to do that, I can select an object and just apply the modifiers from the top to the bottom, okay? Because these modifiers have been applied on this object in the order in which they appear here. So the first is being applied first, the second is being applied second. You will see that if I take this modifier and move it down here, you see there's a change, okay? So I'm going to apply it from the top to the bottom. Now there's an add-on called the modifier tools. If I enable this modifier, I don't know why I have an error there, but it still works. I really don't know what this error is all about. Okay. Now, if you have that modifier, you enable it. That add-on rather is going to make applying the modifiers easier. So all you have to do is to click on apply all, and it's going to apply all the modifiers for you. But if you don't have the add-on, okay, you just apply the modifiers one after the other. So I apply this, apply the next one, and apply the next one. Okay. I go ahead for this. I just apply the first one, apply the second one. For this, just apply all, okay? And I go ahead and do the same thing here, just apply all, okay? But before I apply this, I realized that I want the main locker itself to be longer, okay? I'm just going to GZ and move it on the Z axis by 0.05 meter, and this looks better, okay? Yeah, it looks better. So apply all the modifiers. Do I have any other modifiers unapplied? Nope, all my modifiers are applied, okay? So since all my modifiers are applied, I can just select all my objects and hit Ctrl J, okay? And select all my objects and hit Ctrl J. Now, I want you to realize that, you see, I'm not just selecting my objects randomly. No, okay? When I select my objects this way, you see that one of the objects has a brighter orange color, right? While the other objects have a slightly reddish color. Now, what that means is that this object with the brighter orangey yellow color is the active object. Okay, so if I apply my object, it's going to copy certain properties of this object. Okay, so for example, now you see that my origin point is at the base here. Okay, so if I select these my objects and select this as the last and I join them, you see that all the objects are now one object, but the origin point still remains at the base here. Okay, and if I were to select this object and use it as my origin as my active object, you see that if I hit Ctrl J, now this is where my origin point is. Okay, so normally I want my origin point to be at the base, just at the base here. Okay, so I'm just gonna select my object, and now I just box select all the other objects. It's going to still be the active object. I'm going to hit Ctrl J. Okay, now I've joined the object. Okay, yeah, and these two have the origin point at the base. So for this, we can actually move the origin point to the center, but that one is not for now. We'll do that one later. Okay, so yeah, and then the naming has changed slightly. Okay, so I can just fix it. Chair underscore student. Okay, and for this, ooh, I'll call it desk underscore student. Exactly. Now Alt G to reset the location, and I'm going to hide this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and model the bookshelf. Now for the bookshelf, I'm going to start from the top. Okay, and I want my bookshelf to have 6 segments, if that makes sense. Okay, and like I said, I want to start modeling my bookshelf from the top to the base. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to select this top face and invert the selection and delete everything else. I'll just delete the faces. Okay, I'm going to work with this. Now for this, I'm going to add a modifier. I'm going to add a solidify modifier. My thickness is going to be 0.02. 0.02 exactly. Okay, good. Now I'm going to add a bevel modifier. My thickness is going to be 0.002 exactly. Good. Now one last modifier is, you get right, is the weighted normal. Okay, just to make it look smooth. I'll shade smooth. Good. Yeah, so now I'm here, and now this is the top, like I said. Okay, so in edit mode, I'm gonna, okay, I'm in the side view now. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to place it nicely here, just at this point. Okay, I'm going to move the base down to the world origin point. That's the ground level. Okay, just GZ. Now this is it. Good. So this is the top and the back sorted out already. I'm going to do the same thing for the side and just select this. I'm in the front view now. Shift D R90. Okay, I just position this. Mind you, I said I'm snapping. Okay, I'm just going to deselect the top and move this GZ and move it down to the base GZ. Good. Now the idea is that you see in the real world, this bookshelf is a single object, okay, but this object is made of different pieces of wood, okay. So that's the idea of using separate meshes like that. So the one object where the meshes are separate, okay, not really separated in that sense, but you get the idea, okay. Now for this, I'm just going to select this face and in edit mode, I'm going to deselect the front, and for this, I'm going to move it so it doesn't intersect. Let's move it here. Good. So this is what I'm talking about. You see, one object, but the wooden pieces are individual wooden pieces. Okay, that were just joined together. Now for this, I'm gonna duplicate it, Shift D X, you rotate it 180 degrees and place it nicely. GX, just place it nicely. Exactly. Yeah, so just like that, I have the basic frame, right? Now for the top, I'm going to do the same thing. Duplicate it, Shift D, Z, duplicate it to the bottom here, right? Now for this, I'm going to rotate 180 degrees. Okay, now this looks good. Okay, but for the base, I want the thickness to be more. Okay, so I'm going to separate it by selection. P separate by selection. And for the base, the solidify, I want the thickness to be 0.1, 0.1. 0.1 looks, yeah, 0.1 is fine. So since the thickness is 0.1, I can just raise the base of the main object up. Okay, just GZ 0.1. Exactly. So it aligns nicely with the thickness of the base, right? Now, like I said, I need 6 segments here, right? So what I'll do is that I'm just going to select, I need just one face here, okay? I'm going to add in edge loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think I have 6 segments now, okay? So if you count the faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 6 segments. Now I'm going to use this as a guide, okay? I just need this as a guide. This edge loops here are serving no other purpose than just being my guide, as easy as that, okay? So now I know that when I select this mesh, okay, and I duplicate it, Shift D, Z, okay, I'm going to try to align it with this vertex here, okay. Now to do that, I can just turn on my snapping, snap to vertex, okay, and G, Z, just snap to the vertex there, okay, yeah, and I disable my snapping again. And what I'll do is that I'm going to select this mesh, okay, and just go to vertex mode, deselect one part. I'm going to move it inward a bit, GX, okay, just move it inward till it aligns perfectly. Now hit Ctrl L to select the entire mesh now, and deselect that, do the same thing here, just GX, just moves it inward, okay, just so that it doesn't intersect. Now hit Ctrl L to select that particular mesh, do the same thing for the back, okay, just GY. Let it just align perfectly. Now this is it, okay? As easy as that. So I'm going to duplicate this now and move it down while snapping to the edge or the vertex here. Now I'm going to enable my snapping again, snap to the vertex in wireframe mode, Shift DZ, just snap here, okay? Now to repeat the process, what? Shift R, okay? That's all. That's literally it, okay? Now how many segments do I have? 6. But one thing I want to do is that, you see, I want to leave the first 4 segments, that's the top 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to leave them open, okay? While the last 2 are going to have a drawer, okay? I think I like that style. I saw it somewhere. I can't remember. This here, yeah, I think it's this, right? Let me look if I see another one. Not quite that one. Yeah, something like this. Even though mine is just gonna have one single drawer. Okay. To do that, first of all, I need to be in my edit mode, and I'm going to select this top 4, this 3. Okay. Yeah, just these 3. Okay. And now I'm going to the side orthographic. I deselect this group of edges there. I'm going to move this inward a little bit, maybe GY. Oh, I need to disable my snapping. GY 1, 2. Yeah, I think this will do. Okay, good. So yeah, this vertices here, or edges have served their purpose. Okay, so I can just delete them. X, dissolve edges. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm going to add in a drawer here. Now, the drawer is going to be really simple. All I have to do is to duplicate this mesh, this particular mesh you see here. I'm inside orthographic now. I just shift D. Now I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees. Okay. And I'm going to position it perfectly here. Maybe even snap. Do I need to snap in this case? Yeah, maybe. So I just snap to the vertex. So GZ, snap to this vertex, right? And deselect that. Now I do the same thing here. GZ, snap to, ooh, I'm actually not snapping to that vertex. Okay, well, since I know that the thickness of the vertex is 0.02, all I have to do is GZ 0.02. That's going to be minus. Yeah, exactly. Now this is it. This is it. Okay, I'm going to duplicate it to the other side. I think I need to disable this snapping for now. So I just select it, Shift D, Z. Why is this snapping? No? Yeah, and just place it perfectly. I think I still need to snap for this. I still need to snap. So I'll just snap to my vertices. Ooh, okay. GZ. Let me snap to this vertex and now move it 0.02 on the Z axis. So GZ 0.02 minus. Exactly. Now this is it. You see, it doesn't have to be more complex than this, okay? Now the other thing I have to do is to just add in the handles of the cupboard, right? Now to do that, I just select this face, Shift S, cursor to selected. Now my cursor is here, right? And I'm going to add a plane, Shift A, plane. I'm going to scale this, just scale this till it's about the size of the handle, okay? Now I add in an edge loop, or yeah, I just add in an edge loop, okay? And I just V to slice because I need to delete this part. I don't need this part. So I just delete this part, okay? Now I'm also going to delete the face and that edge there. All I need is these three edges here, okay? So I'm just going to add an edge loop here. Now select that vertex there and X, delete vertices, okay? I'm going to dissolve this vertex too, okay? Now I'm going to bevel these vertices, Control Shift B to bevel vertices. And I need maybe 4 segments. 4 segments is okay. And offset of 0.025. Yeah, this is okay, okay? Yeah, this is okay. I'm just going to select this part, move it inward, GY. Does this make sense? I hope it does. Okay, now I'll just select this, convert it to a curve, and I'll do the same thing I did, just give it a depth 0.01 is okay. You see a really basic handle, no complications here, right? Now I convert this back to a mesh and shade smooth. Okay, really basic handle. If I want to go crazy, I can add more details. Okay, one thing I can do is that I can select the last ring of vertices here, move it out to a GY, maybe by a value of 0.005. Okay, now I'm going to change my transform pivot point to individual origins, okay, because what I want to do is that I want to extrude this, scale it up a bit, and now I extrude it on the y-axis by a value of 0.005. Yeah, exactly. Now this looks better. Yeah, it looks a whole lot better. Now for this, I can add a modifier, bevel modifier. Okay, I'm going to uncheck clamp overlap so that it doesn't clamp. Okay, now reduce the size 0.001. Yeah, this looks good. And I can play with the angle here to get better results. I think 2 segments? No, 1 segment. How about 0.0005? Exactly. I need this to be really tight, okay? I like that. I like that. Now I'm just gonna move it down, Shift D, duplicate, just position it nicely around here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now that's it. As easy as that. You have your cupboard, okay? So you can as well apply all the modifiers. Just apply all the modifiers, that's all. And for this, Ctrl J, apply all the modifiers and join it with the, okay, yeah, for the base, apply the modifiers as well. Now select all, Ctrl J. Now this is your bookshelf. As easy as that. So the next thing I want us to create is our teacher's desk. That's the desk underscore teacher. So I'm going to hide this and let's talk about creating the teacher's desk now. So for the teacher's desk, I'm going to keep it really simple, right? Now I look at my reference images and I like something like this. But here's the thing. You see, my camera, in my final render, my camera is going to face this direction, right? So I'm not going to see the back side, or should I say the front side of the teacher's desk. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this particular side here. Okay, so it is not necessary for me to create this. Okay, I'm just going to keep this as part of my optimization plan, right? So the only thing I'm going to model is the top, the sides, and the back. Yeah, that's this part here. So let's get straight to it. Now I want to delete every other face except the top face. Yeah, so I'll just Control I to invert the selection and I delete the faces, right? Now for this, I want to give it a thickness of 0.02. So I'm going to add a solidify modifier and keep my thickness 0.02. Note that if your thickness is taking the other direction, all you have to do is change the offset value. Okay, change it from either -1 to 1 or 1 to -1 as the case may be. All right, so yeah, now the next thing I want to do is add the bevel modifier. So I add in the bevel modifier and my value 0.002. Yeah, like that. And I usually like to uncheck clamp overlap, even though in this case it's not going to show any visual difference. Now the next modifier I add is a weighted normal modifier. Okay, and change the weight to 100. Yeah, this just makes it look high poly, even though it's still low poly. Okay. So now the next thing I would do is to duplicate this and create the size, right? So I just Shift D, duplicate, rotate 90 degrees and just put it nicely in place. Note that I'm snapping. I'm snapping to grids. Okay, I just hit Control to snap to grids. And for this, I just drag it up to the world origin point. GZ, exactly. Now I select this whole mesh. I just hover over it and hit L, Shift D to duplicate it, R 180 degrees to rotate it by 180 degrees. And now for this, I just move it to the other side and it is placed nicely here. Now for the back, okay, I'm going to duplicate the top here. So I'm on my right orthographic now, and then I just Shift D, R -90, exactly. Now I position it nicely in place here. Yeah, exactly. But for this, I'm going to unselect the first part, and then for the base, I'm just going to drag it up a bit, GZ, yeah, because it doesn't go all straight to the ground as you see here. One thing I realized is that the back and the sides are intersecting, right? So in this case, I think I'm going to move the sides. Yeah, I'm going to just adjust the sides here. Okay, so I just select both of them, deselect this part and just move it slightly to the right. Yeah, so they don't intersect. Exactly. So I like it like this. Now, really easy, okay? Now, one last thing is that there's a little bit of an extrusion here by the sides, okay? So I can either extrude it or move this inward. Well, in my case, I'm just going to select this side in edit mode and move them inward, okay? So I'm on my front photographic now. I'm going to deselect this part and I just move this inward, maybe by value of 0.02. It's okay, exactly. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this part. Just select them and I'm going to deselect this part, yeah, and move it inward, GX 0.02, exactly. Do I need to do it for the back? Let me see. Oh, not quite. Yeah, maybe I'll just do it, right? Maybe I'll just do it, yeah. So I'll just select every other side except the top. So that way I can just select the top face and Control I to invert the selection. Now I'm on my right orthographic. Okay. So I just unselect this side and GY, just move it in. Oopsie, GY, move it in a bit. And yeah, I think this looks good now. Okay. So guys, that is how you create the teacher's decks. So the next thing we're going to create is the Blackboard and the bulletin board. So for our Blackboard, as you can see, it is really simple, right? There's just the wooden piece and that's the border, right? That's this brown wood you see here, okay? And this wood is not all that straight at the edges, it is angled, let's say 45 degrees, right? And now there's an inner piece of wood, even though we might just keep this one, okay? Yeah, we might just keep this one. And the next thing is the main board itself, right? Now there's another piece of wood here. I believe this is where the chalk and the white part are being kept, right? Now for the bulletin board, which is the notice board, it's almost the same thing, right? Even though this is a simpler shape. So let's go ahead and create that. Now I'm gonna hide this and unhide my Blackboard and my bulletin board. I'm just going to select this and move it to the side a little bit. So let's start with the Blackboard. Okay, let's start with the Blackboard. Now for the Blackboard, I'm still going to start from the top. Now that I know that my bottom is just at the base, at the world origin, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to start from the top. So Control I, just delete these vertices here. Now for the top, this is going to be thicker. Okay, so this is going to be thicker. Let's see 0.04 or 0.05. Let me see. I'm going to add a solidify modifier. Let me see 0.04. Yeah, 0.04 looks, or I think I should make this 0.05. 0.05 looks okay. Does it? Yes, it looks okay. Okay. Yeah, it does. It does look okay. But now I'm gonna check, do I need the wood to be as thick as this? Yeah, I think I can work with that for now, and if I have to make any corrections, I'll make them later on. But for now, I'm good. So for this, I want to apply the modifier, right? Because I'm going to move these vertices slightly inward. So they're going to be at an angle of 45 degrees. So I'm going to apply the modifier. Now I just apply it. And before I do that, I want to duplicate it, right? So I'm just going to duplicate it. And this, I just drag it to the bottom here, okay? Note I'm also snapping GZ. Yeah, and just drag it to the bottom here. Now I also duplicate it, Shift D, R90, and I place it nicely here, just nicely at this level. Note I'm also snapping, okay? I'll just snap here, and in edit mode, I unselect the top vertices and GZ, snap this one, GZ, just snap this nicely here. And now I select it, duplicate it to the other side, okay? Like that, GX. Exactly. Now I said they're at an angle of about 45 degrees, right? So to do that is really easy. All I have to do is to select the vertices that are at this position, right? This position here. So yeah, I'm just gonna select the ones at the top and the one at this side because I really don't need them, okay? Now what I'm going to do is to move these vertices and snap them to these vertices here. So to do that, I just enable my snapping and my vertex snapping, and I just move it GX and snap them here, right? Now these vertices, I snap them to these ones here, GZ. I just snap them, as easy as that, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to select all, unselect this, and unselect that, and GX, snap them here. Select this GZ, snap them to the top. Good. Now you do the same thing for the base. Okay. I just select this, now deselect that, and deselect these. And for this, I just GX, snap to this vertex here. Now select this GZ, snap to that vertex there. Now we have one last one. Okay. Now select this, but deselect everything else. Okay. GX, snap to this vertex. GZ, snap to that vertex. And that is it. That is all, guys. You would see that when I add a bevel modifier, I'm going to uncheck clamp overlap, change my amount to 0.002. You'll see that it looks really, really good now. Okay. Let me once again check my scales. Yeah, my scale is okay. So now I'm gonna add also a weighted normal modifier, and it looks good. Okay, we will work with these. So to complete this, I'm just gonna go to my top photographic and select the faces at the back here and Shift S and bring my cursor here. Okay, so my cursor is going to be at the center. Why? Because I want to add the main board itself, and to do that I just Shift A and add in a plane. Okay, and I rotate it RX by 90 degrees. Exactly. Now I just start to position it in place. Remember, my snapping is still active. Okay, so I can just GZ and snap to this vertex. GZ, snap to that vertex, select this, GX, I snap to this vertex, and GX, I snap to this vertex. Exactly. Now this is my board and it looks good. I think I'm going to bring this forward a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to bring it forward. So to do that, first of all, I disable my snapping, and in edit mode, I can just drag it in a little bit. GUI, yeah, maybe I just drag it here. I think this is fair enough, right? This is fair enough. So yeah, this is it. Now for this, I'm going to apply the modifiers. I'm going to apply the modifiers because I want to join the main board itself to the frame. So I'm just going to select the board first, select the frame last, Ctrl J. Now the board and the frame become one object. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm going to duplicate this to create the bulletin board. Okay, I think I'm not even done yet. There's one piece of wood left that I need to create, right? That's where the wiper and the chalk will rest. So to do this, I can just duplicate this face here, Shift D, and okay, first of all, let me separate it as a selection. Okay, now this is it. Now, so for this, I need to give it a thickness. Okay, now the thickness is still going to be 0.02. So I'm just going to add the solidify modifier. Yeah, now you see I have to change the offset to 1. okay, maybe even thickness, and 0.02. Yeah, this thickness is enough for me. And I'm going to select the edge that is here, and in my side orthographic, just drag it out a little bit. GY, just drag it out a little bit, maybe by a value of 0.005 exactly. Now this is good. This is good. Now I'm going to add a bevel modifier 0.002. Now the last modifier is the weighted normal modifier. So I'm going to add the weighted normal modifier and change the weight to 100. Now this is good. So yeah, now I apply all the modifiers and join it back to the main object. Ctrl J. Exactly. Good. Now this is the Blackboard in its full glory, right? So oopsie, what is this behind? Nothing. Okay. So now I just duplicate this Shift D X, just place it nicely around here. Now in edit mode, I select all the vertices at this side. I GX to move it here exactly. And for this, I don't need this particular mesh here. So I just delete this. I just delete this here. And yeah, I delete the block out as well. Okay. So this is our Blackboard and this is our bulletin board. Yeah, Blackboard, bulletin, underscore board. So that's all for this video, guys. And the next video, we'll talk about the walls and then we'll go into UV unwrapping and all that good stuff. So see you in the next video.